Dallas, we're live.
We are live,
It's Wednesday night, and we're live.
Well, you know what they say. All good things happen on Wednesdays.
Really?
No one says that.
No one. Well, Wednesday's okay. I like Wednesday. My favorite day is actually Monday. It's always been.
Oh, Monday, really?
Yeah, people hate Monday. You know what I mean? Oh, Monday.
Well, I guess it gives you something to look forward to. Everybody else is like, ugh.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I love my work. I love my work. Yeah, Sunday, I always hated Sunday.
Really? Because you're getting ready to go back to work?
But it's opposite. When I was a kid, right? When I was in school before they threw me out, right? My favorite day was Friday, right?
Oh, this is because you're getting out of school.
Right. This is how much I hated school. My favorite day was Friday. But Saturday, I couldn't really enjoy myself because I knew the next day was Sunday. And the day after that, I had to go to school.
Worried too much about the days.
No, I mean, it was like you have no idea.
Oh, right. Danny Boyd says Plan Z. Well, that's why we're here.
Well, we're here for more than just Plan Z. I mean, you know.
Oh, are we doing other things?
I mean, there's a bigger picture than just the friggin' car. I think. Yeah. You know, I hope. All right, wait. This is. I can't read this. I got to try to move this closer without disturbing the wire of doom. So just stay put.
Wire of doom's looking awfully taut.
Well, no, I got it right over here. You would think with the friggin' money I make from YouTube that there would be. Wait, what did we do here?
I don't know.
We're not on center anymore.
Well, I don't know how that's possible. Well, I think you're just looking at you've moved the computer in the frame.
Let's switch. Let's switch because this way I'm closer to the words.
Okay. All right. Where's Kiwi?
Oh yeah, that's better.
They're asking where's Kiwi.
That's better.
No one's even saying, "Hey, I'm back." I'm like, so I'm gone 1 week, and everyone totally forgets who I am.
Well, there's George Bonnie, John Wilburn. No, people were like all about looking for you. You're sitting really close to me.
I wasn't. You moved there.
But I'm trying to get closer to the words.
Okay.
We're not used to this. This is a whole new thing. That's better.
Right.
Yeah, we have a little air gap. Yeah.
Hey, fellas. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hey, and Danny Boyd said, "Did I get the Ford sorted out?" Yeah, you wouldn't believe what it is. I fought it, and like playing with it. And I know you were like, "Put a carburetor on it."
Wait. Let me guess.
Yeah.
Okay. EEC4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Negative battery cable.
No.
There's a little pigtail connector.
Nope.
No.
EEC4. I thought you were going to nail it first thing.
Go ahead.
I had 2 bad computers. 2.
Oh, all right.
So it's like I had my Cobra computer, which is an X3Z, I think is what it is. X3C, maybe. I don't know. And then you had another A9P, which was the one I wanted to use because it's like out of a 90 automatic car. But,
Joel Jenkins wants to know, so are all of the cars being built at your shop going to compete at the No Name Nationals? The only one of my cars that's going to compete there is going to be Bottle Rocket. Well, I mean, okay, the Sledgehammer is mine too, but really it's Al's to run. So I believe he wants to take it to I'm sure he's going to take it to the No Name Nationals.
That was his plan.
Yes. And the Junkyard Jet guys are definitely going to take theirs. But again, it's not my car. It's theirs. So, yeah, as far as I know, there are 3 cars from here that are going to the No Name Nationals. But I myself am only bringing 1. John Wilburn says you guys are 1 elbow width away from switching teams. I know it's a little weird, but I can't move any further away because I can't read the words over here. So,
well, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Oh, there you go. Look, now it's even. Now I'm this here and you're that there, right?
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking what would actually be the best is if we just put the blue mic in between us.
No. The floor, Mike Whittington said the floor mats were not grounded properly. That's a Ford thing. I could see that as being a Ford thing.
Yeah, well, when I drove it here, 2 weeks ago, it just wouldn't start good. Like it wouldn't start and run good. But once it got warmed up to temp, it was like, oh wow, this thing's amazing. But the next day you go to start it, it would not start when it was cold. I couldn't figure it out. I was pulling my hair out. But the computers themselves, I guess they got 3 capacitors in there that after so much time, because they're now 30 something years old, right? they leaked the electrolytes out.
Okay.
And so I took my A9P and I found another computer that I had that was out of a truck, swapped out the caps, everything I thought was going to be great, put it in. Now it wouldn't even get out of its own way, right? So then I put the Cobra computer back in it, and it didn't throw any codes, but it just wouldn't run with the crap. And I got two bad computers.
Uncle Kathy's reminding me, oh no, Tony, you forgot the model I bought to mine. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about it now. I'll bring it on Sunday night. I'll show that on Sunday night. We got a really special gift from somebody. Which don't send me things. Do not ever send me anything. Okay, but that said, we did get a very special gift from somebody. We'll show it on Sunday night. Levi's Backyard Performance. Thank you for the super chat. Sent our first giveaway item. Congrats to Don English. Don English won something.
Yeah, well, he must have been maybe the 500th subscriber to Levi's Backyard Performance. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Or 100 subscriber. I don't know.
Okay. Uncle Kathy is the model. No, somebody else. She's saying hi, guys. That's Uncle Kathy there. Somebody brought up the spam thing. I have no idea what that is. I was just as surprised as anybody else when I looked at the comments and I saw the stuff. Now Uncle Kathy is taking care of all that stuff. I have no idea what the spam is or anything. Yeah, I try to remain as ignorant of things as possible.
I was literally thinking of that on the way over here. Was like, what's funny is, how we do this once a week, but literally once I leave here, I draw a line around my house and my garage area where like nobody, I don't want anybody freaking bothering me, right?
See, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only Falconer X 666. Thank you, my evil friend. Should we all convert our modern cars to carburetors to protect them against the EMP burst when the Russia nukes the USA in the next few weeks? Russia isn't going to nuke anybody. Russia, don't worry about Russia. Yeah, but you should put carburetors on there anyway, just because they're cool. Okay. Levi, another super chat. If I hit 500 before June, I'm giving away a 4-speed.
Oh,
what
sweet.
kind of 4-speed?
Man, if it's a Saginaw, you're never going to get to 500.
833 you'll get to 500 easy. People are thieving for those transmissions. So Levi has 133 subscribers right now. So go over there, check out Levi's Backyard Performance. So well, Dallas, tell them what the deal is with
the No Name Nationals. Okay, so if you're registered and you're betting the farm on this, you need to have 500 subs by the day that we start. So September the 30th. Right? If not, I'm sure there's going to be a few guys panhandling near the gate trying to get some subs, but
people with cardboard signs subs.
Need subs to get in, yeah.
Sub.
But that was kind of the idea was that's where YouTube recognizes you as a content creator. It's 500. That's when they give you your own community page, right? So John and I, when we were putting this thing together, we were brainstorming. John wanted to have a minimum sub number, and we came up with 500 because it was fair. It was a good fair number. That's where YouTube recognizes you as a content creator. So that's what we just. It'd be easy if we said, yeah, you don't have to have any subs. But then, who would come?
Where's the sport in that?
Well, who would come see guys that don't have any subs?
It's part of the competition.
It's a YouTube.
But it's also a way. I see it as a way to build our community.
It does, and you know what? Matter of fact, when we first started, there was guys were like, oh, this is going to be difficult and impossible. And there was a few guys that went all in. They registered the same day, 0 subs, right? Mm-hmm. We've got 4 channels now. John was telling me last night there's 4 channels that have already
made the 500. That's awesome.
500, yeah.
All right. We got a super chat from Clayton who sent $10 Canadian. Thank you, Clayton. I have a Performer RPM intake and an old Wyatt accelerator single plane intake. Which would you choose? Light car, Ford 302, 650 double pumper, Edelbrock heads, roller cam, 220 at 50, 512 lift, 110 LSA, 9.5 to 1 compression. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me, man. You throw that YN on there.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do, but it depends what you want to do. if you want to drive it every day, that performer RPM is probably going to be better on the street. But man,
Well,
that
yeah.
Y-end will be freaking top end fun.
Mid-range too.
Yeah, it'll be like
with
normal 302, like 2,500 on up, right?
Yeah, seriously, with that cam and yeah, you got in that wine, you have something that would be really punchy in the mid-range, man. That'd be a good combination.
But it is a 302, so it will be soggy down on the bottom end, especially if you're trying to drive it on the street as like a daily or something.
Let's see.
Oh, Tom Brown's asking me, Dallas, who makes the spacer adapters to run a 215 intake on a 300? Tom, you're looking at them. I did that. I don't have any. I actually had one set made for that Jack the Giant Killer I did is on my channel back in August. I think is when I broke the cam in on it and I did the video. But there is no one that makes them. I actually have the patterns. I was going to contact what is it, Motion Raceworks? I think that's what it is, Motion Raceworks, and see if those guys would be willing to do that.
You know any motorsports in the house? What's going on, Andy? How are you, my brother? Let's see. Serge, do you think it's possible to get a 66 Newport with a 383 300 tree to 20 miles per gallon? Short answer, yes. Long answer, you're going to have to dedicate a serious amount of effort to that cause. But yeah, I think it can be done.
20's not too unobtainium.
It's a heavy car with a fairly inefficient motor.
But he's got 3 on the tree,
yeah,
right?
that's a.
So you're probably saving 2 miles a gallon there, right? So I'd say, you know, what that thing came out from the factory, probably 15 miles a gallon. So that would put it at, if you super tuned it, maybe 17. So then you got a few things you can play with, you know, especially if you change a cam and put an RV cam in it.
It's going to take. Well, I started saying it's doable, but it's going to be.
Yeah,
journey.
you're right.
It's a 15 mile per gallon car. You know, driven easy, nice and easy, 14,
right.
15 miles per gallon. You can get it, but you're going to have to really work for it.
And you're going to have to probably go to a thermoquad to get that.
Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage. What's going on, Mr. Will? Tony, please give us an update on Plan Z. What's going on? Okay,
that's what it's.
That's why we're in here. It's like this is like a continuation of Sunday night. All right, give me 1 minute. Let me answer the super chat, and I'll give you the update on Plan Z. Jonathan Couchy, thank you, sir. Best mile per gallon of a slant 6. Have 3-speed with lockup. Have action for 4-speed overdrive. 323 gears, better mile per gallon with a 318. Well, look into the Feather Duster. I did a video on the Feather Duster.
Isn't he? He's saying he's having a problem with his slant 6. He said he's getting a better mile per gallon with a 318. Is that right? Or am I reading that wrong?
No, he's asking best mile. What's the best mile per gallon for a slant 6? He has a 3-speed with lockup. Well, I guess he's got an automatic. Have action. I don't know what he means by action for 4-speed overdrive. 323 gears. Excuse me. Yeah, look into the Feather Duster. They advertised that they got 38 miles to the gallon. This is in 1976. I had one when I had one. It was only about a 4-year-old car at the time. And I got up in the 30s, but I don't remember it being quite that good. But look into the Feather Duster if you're curious about, slant 6 gas mileage. All right. So Plan Z. So here's where we left off. Saturday night, we had an issue. Is that we were supposed to assemble a whole motor Saturday night and then put it in the car on Sunday and get it going. But we had an issue as I was fitting the motor together. As anybody who was watching the live, I went to put the last piston in, and the skirts were a little tight against the cylinder wall, and I didn't like the way that felt. So we called it quits Saturday night. Sunday, I got another piston, swapped it all out, and got that done. So we were running a little bit behind on Sunday. Then we had an issue when we plugged the motor into the transmission. The hub in the back of the crankshaft that's supposed to take the torque converter hub, it was the crankshaft must have come from a stick car that never had a hub in there, so it needed to be cleaned out. Yeah. So we had to pull the motor back out, fix that. So that was all done. Then at that point, it was about 9 o'clock, 9:30. Everybody was tired. We're like, the hell with this. We'll finish it tomorrow. So I did. I came in the next morning, bolted it all together, finished, got it running. We had a problem with some push rods. This is the rocker. This is one of the Chrysler rockers. So these things, these things have an interference thread. There's no jam nut on these. They have an interference thread, and I shouldn't be able to turn this thing. but you can see how
Oh.
easily this turns.
It's been adjusted too many times.
Well, I don't know about that. Here's the thing: this engine has 340 valve springs in it,
Uh-huh.
and I think that it's stretched. See, it's a pressed thing. I think this is spread.
Oh,
There were 3 of them that
yeah,
were
because they're usually like swedged. That's how they do the interference, right?
right. So there's no interference on this. So Monday morning, I had to do some rocker arm and push rod readjustments here. So we got that all squared away. The motor runs great.
Isn't fired up.
I'll fire it up. I'm gonna fire it
Let
up.
me get out of the way.
Okay.
All right. Sounds so weird.
It does, right?
Yeah. It's a, I
That's
mean,
what I call
it
playing
revs.
Z. You know? So she's running. Sounds cool in her rotary.
I mean, it just revs so quick, but yet it sounds like well, from what I know, V6, right?
Well,
But-
straight 6.
Right.
Slant
Well,
six.
I mean, no, I know it's a slant 6, but it just sounds like a V6, like
Yeah.
a Grand National or something, of that nature. But it revs so quick.
It does. Let's see. Doug Nord, more woo-bah, please. More. I don't. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm happy with the way. Well, I mean, I didn't
It's
do
got
anything.
good oil pressure too, though.
It's got great oil pressure.
Awesome.
I really didn't make any changes to it's the same cam that was in it the last time. It's the same carburetor, it's the same everything. It's just, repaired. So
Mike Whittington says, "Revy McRev face."
burnout, no burnout yet. So you think, okay, well, we're done, but no, we're not done, because now I have to pull the transmission out. One of the lugs there's 4 lugs on the torque converter. The threads just pulled out of it, and I can't get with it. I tried. I was laying under there this morning.
Threads pulled out of the torque converter.
The threads pulled out of it. Thanks, Shane. The threads pulled right out of it, just like they weren't even in there.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't strip. It wasn't cross-threaded. It fingered it all the way down, and just put the wrench on it to turn it, and went whoop.
Huh.
So I got to pull the tranny out and Healy coil one of the converter lugs. So yeah, no, it sounds good. I'm more than happy with it.
Joseph Giannini says, "Weld and tap it."
Mr. Will Diamond, yeah, despite all the setbacks to live, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It's stressful. You guys have no idea how difficult it is to
Oh, I can only imagine. Build a motor under the microscope of the world. Yeah.
Nobody else could ever do that.
Well, I'm telling you, I know that I wouldn't want to do it, because I'd be like, I go to put something on. Oh, you're a hack. You didn't use this. You didn't use that. And those are old bolts. And it's like, oh God, dude.
I know. I know. But we had fun. Big Belly Racing. Uncle Tony, why did you pull the didn't you pull the trans out when the motor was out and put it in? No, why would I do that?
Doug Narden wants to know how many quarts total in the Slant 6 with the oil pan mod.
7.5 brought it to the full line on the dipstick.
Does that thing normally hold 6?
Holds 4, just over 4 in the sump.
Okay, so now it holds 7.5.
It takes 7.5 to fill to the full line
in the
on the
sump.
dipstick.
Okay, so you've increased it by 3.5 quarts.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
Sean Fagan says that motor sounds like it's choking on Bondo dust.
Believe me, there's tons of it in there.
Slaghammer is leaving just a bit out here.
New City Carpet. Would you consider using very short slicks to help you get the gearing you want? 20 to 22 inch. That's a little tiny.
I don't know if anybody even makes a 22 inch tall.
Yeah,
slick.
honestly, the problem with this car is that it's so light in the back, and I mean it's light in the back. I won't do it now because I have buckled the quarter panel the past doing this. But you can go to the back of the car, put your hand, grab up on a wheel well like this, and just lift it off the ground. So the problem is if I go with a smaller tire, it wants to spin these now. So I don't.
Well, it does too. You did some burnouts. There's some videos actually of you doing burnouts with it in the parking lot.
Big Belly Racing. I always find it easier removing and installing the motor trans together. That's why I try not to do that. I try not to. Well, so here's the thing, right? I don't like taking hoods off. To me, it's easier. It's better to do the transmission in the car than it is to take the hood off. Because usually I'm working by myself, and putting the hood on and off is a 2-man job.
Dude, that's the only thing that ever hangs me up working in my own garage.
Right.
Is like I'll have to have my wife come out and help me take the hood off.
Right. So I don't like to take the hood off. I never took the hood off of this. I never take hoods off. So the only way that I can do that is to pull the motor separately. You can't put the motor and trans in with the hood on. So that's and I started doing that when I was like 15 or 16. So it's like a habit that just doesn't go away, and it's just how I've always done it now.
All right. Frank Caputo says, "Hey guys, do you recommend running or using a proportioning valve with a drum-to-drum dual master cylinder?" I think all of them factory came with a proportioning valve because it's not proportioned in the master cylinder. It's the same size all the way through.
Yeah. Okay. Drum brakes, it's called a distribution valve.
Oh, distribution valve?
Yeah, and in disc brakes, it's called a proportioning valve.
Okay, well, that makes sense because the discs need more fluid than the rear drums.
Right. You got to send more pressure to the front than to the back because it takes more.
Right. So you might be able to get away with not having one.
No, but
because it would apply evenly throughout all 4 wheels, right? If said wheel cylinders were the same
the
size.
right diameters.
Yeah.
The right diameters.
So, yeah, depending on if your wheel cylinders are the same diameter, you might be able to get away with it.
Permanent cross members. I don't know what that means. Auto 1303. Tony, will Plan Z remain open headers or some type of late plug tailpipe merge? No. Well, it's a track only car. It'll never see the street. So yeah, no, open headers.
Well, you got it done just in time. You know why? The track's going to be opening up here soon.
I know. Well, that's why I hustled to get
you saw it today, right? It was like almost 80 degrees.
I was on a motorcycle as much as I could today. Yeah.
The Cub?
No.
Real one?
Yeah, that's not nice. Don't talk shit about the Cub. The Cub has feelings. It's cute. No, I was on my Harley all day. Well, not all day, but as much of the day as I could, justify it. Which is lighter, Plan Z or Miata? Plan Z. What is the Plan Z weigh? 2,100 pounds.
Did we weigh it last year?
Yeah, it was like 2120 something. Let's see. Plan Z needs to have the motor move back 3 feet. That's too much like work. And if I wanted to work, I'd get a job.
Plus, it's kind of hard to find a Dodge van these days where you can rip all that stuff out and weld it in. I guess you got what is that truck called out front? The yellow
A
truck?
caravan.
Yeah, the caravan. You could use the whole entire dash assembly and all
Well,
that.
that's going to be my tow vehicle this year.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened? What's up with the moto? You going to do the rear end in it?
The moto is just a pain in the ass.
Is it?
Well, you think about it, right? I can't leave anything in there. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean?
Well, like, okay, so if I'm using the caravan, okay,
Uh-huh.
I can leave tools in there. I can leave, tie downs. I can leave all sorts of things.
I
in
got an
there.
answer for this.
What's that?
There's a place. Are you familiar with Hodge's truck beds?
I think so. Yeah.
Those are the guys that used to do the ramp truck beds back in the day,
Okay.
right? We could take the moto up there and have them section that dude and put a freaking ramp bed on it, make it look like it's 1971.
That's way more money than I want to spend.
Have Mopar Al do it. He's good at that stuff.
Yeah. No, I had a ramp truck when I had
You did?
when I had the fuel Alton. I had a Ford. I had a '69 Ford,
Did you like
which
it?
was a twin to Bobby Laganis. So I mean, I raced off of a ramp truck with the Twilight Zone funny car, and then the top fueler. We had the top fueler mounted with the front wheels over the cab.
Dragster?
Yeah.
Was it white?
Yeah.
Was your cab or Ford truck white?
Blue.
Blue? Oh, I
Blue.
saw a picture of
It was
white
during
one.
the Gulf War, and they used to call us the Stud Scuds, the Scud Studs, rather. But yeah, we had after the funny car, we went to the dragster, but didn't have any money for any type of transporter. So we built ramps that went up the back of the ramp truck.
I
and they
remember
put the
seeing
front
pictures of this, but
There's
I've seen a white
pictures of
one.
it.
I seen a white one like
You could Google image search it, and you can see that. So yeah, no, I've done the ramp truck thing, but I like the I want to use the caravan. So this way I got a nice enclosed place. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just leave my shit in there.
Well, what if we combined the two? Not by. I'm not talking about hack one up. I'm talking about we pull the record bed off of the moto and put a box truck bed on.
I'd have to extend the frame a bunch.
Do you really?
Yeah. It's a short wheelbase. Let's see. Don English. Hey, Don English, what's happening? Finally got to sit down. What did I miss? Not a whole bunch.
Plan Z running.
Jerry's on it. Now that Plan Z is done, Jerry, I so appreciate that you put "done" in the quotation marks. Thank you for that. Because there's still tinkering. I mean, from one end to the other, there's a huge amount of tinkering and things that have to be done to the car. So yeah, but no, now that it's together in one piece, the next thing on the list is the 3D3 for Sledgehammer. So over the next week or two, I'm going to dive into that. And then after that, Bottle Rocket.
All right, here's something that's interesting. Tyson King says my stock brake booster was a 9-inch with a 4-bolt master cylinder. The replacement I got was a 7.5-inch with a 2-bolt master cylinder. Will I be okay? B277. This is 3/4 ton truck stuff, right? And I'd say that B200 that's a van, 3/4 ton van.
Let me read that now. My stock brake booster was a 9-inch 4-bolt master cylinder. Replacement I got is a 7.5-inch. Yeah, you'll be okay. It's okay. They changed from the 4-bolt to the 2-bolt sometime in like 1978, 77, someplace in the late 70s. So internally the master cylinder is the same. It's just instead of using 2 bolts, instead of using 4, they
But he
to
went
2.
from a brake booster that's 9-inch to 7.5-inch. He's going to have less brake assist in that situation. But you know what? He might be able to move the pedal because it might be one of those that had, manual brake option, right? So
Right.
it changed the pivot point of the pedal.
Well, on those, there's 2 completely different setups. There's 2 on a B series. Oh no, it's one setup. It's one bell current. One. No, it's different. It'll come to me.
He says it's a 3/4 ton van.
Yeah.
So Tony says you'll be okay.
I think you'll be okay.
If they did it from the factory, if that's the factory recommended replacement piece, I don't see why there'd be a problem.
Tom Muse, what has more holes, Plan Z or the GTO used for target practice? I'm sure it's close.
But the GTO used for target practice has them all on the outside.
The Duco 5A, for the booster question, he's saying you'll be fine. I used a smaller booster on my 5th Avenue for big block clearance.
Huh. Emil Michelon says, I raced an 83 Chevette called the Scud Missile, 1935 in the quarter.
Merlin PX, Fabio Lagana ramp truck was white on the upper half. That's right. Blue on the bottom. The front axle deal on the roof of the truck looked like a slide deal with hooks on the end for the front axle. It was 2 channels. It was two
narrow channels.
Yeah, 2 narrow channels with like kick-ups at the very front to stop the front wheels. My ramp truck was all blue. It was the only way you could tell the difference between our ramp trucks. They were the same ramp trucks. My ramp truck, I traced it back that it was originally belonged to Roland Leon. And if you look in the 1970 Hot Rod Magazine Annual, that's the one that has the is it the 1970 Hot Rod Magazine Annual. They do a story on the Hawaiian towards the end of that book, and they show the ramp. They take it to the track and they show it up on that ramp truck. So that ramp truck is the one that I actually owned, and then Bobby had the twin to that.
Well, that came all the way from California then, huh?
Yeah, I didn't buy it from California. I didn't know it was his when I bought it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of that stuff got passed around within the community.
Yeah, and Bobby's belonged to originally. Oh, it'll come to me.
Levi's Backyard Performance says, if you like ramp trucks, I'm currently working on one, and I've seen his. His channel has he's building a Chevy ramp truck right now, but it was an original ramp truck from say probably the 70s or 80s.
Mine had a compartment. Okay, so this is great. Under the bed, under the ramps. Okay, there was a compartment, right? Where they would keep a spare short block. And then there was another compartment on the side with a rollout deal where you could run basically a complete motor. Heads and everything would fit into that. And it was on a slide. And on the top, so here's the ramp, okay? Here's the bed of the truck. And right here was like a hole. And that hole was where a swing would go in. So you'd be able to pull the motor out of the out of that compartment and winch it up and be able to swing it over and put it in a car.
Huh, that's cool. I was thinking you were going to tell me about the what did they used to call them? Those pass-through compartments where it's straight through. And some of those you used to be able to open up and they had like sleeping quarters in there, right?
Mine had a sleeper, but it was behind the cab.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let's see. Charles Manson, I just dropped in. Have you fired the slant? Yes, we fired it up about 10 minutes ago. Let's see. Franco, we use that compartment as a beer cooler. Franco, whose ramp? Mine was Roland's. Whose ramp truck was Bobby's? I know it wasn't Ron Leaf's. Ever use a 46 RH?
What's that?
It's a transmission.
Oh,
I have not. Let's see. John, seriously, the slant already ran. Yes, wind back about 10 minutes ago, and it ran. We had it running in here.
I figured I was going to come in here and you guys were going to have the Junkyard Jets engine mounted on the start stand.
There was an issue with that.
It's too long. I was afraid it was going to be too long.
No. Okay. So your starter all bolts to the motor.
Uh-huh.
Chrysler starters all bolt to the transmission.
Bell housing, yeah.
To the bell housing. So they have to. Austin's making a deal with spacers, threaded rod and spacers, so they can bolt the motor with the bell housing to your
stand.
Yeah. Unity Motorsports Garage. Let's build a front engine dragster. I've been there and done it, and I got the T-shirt. And I honestly, if I was a little bit younger, I would, but I'm done with that, man.
I'd like to do it, but time, money, everything gets in the way.
Franklin, Ron Leaf told you it was his ultra. I don't see. I remember it coming from somebody else. Maybe it was somebody. Maybe it was who Ron Leaf got it from. I don't know. There were stories. I just drawn a blank.
Oh, Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage says, Tony, don't ramp trucks go back to the late 30s?
Yeah, they go way back. Jerry Zada, didn't Bobby Lagana use that ramp truck until late 90s, early 2000s? I remember seeing it at E-Town for many years. 80 Sharpman. Okay. That might, all right. Maybe that's where it, yeah. Okay. I quit. I left in 1998. And I think he ran that for like another season or two. So maybe to like 2000.
Fred Gomez said he rode on a ramp truck from Springfield, Illinois to Bloomington, Illinois, with my legs under the race car and my back pressed up against the back window.
Yeah, that's typical crazy racer stuff, man. I know. Ari, what's happening, Ari? Howdy, you all. Just got the water pump on the Slant 6, chipping away at the last few steps before I get the engine into the Dart. Just keep chipping away, man. Just keep chipping away. You missed it. We had Plan Z running here a couple of minutes ago. Mr. Will wants to know, Dallas, sorry, I forgot to ask, how are the kids doing?
Oh, fine. Yeah, good. Good. Everybody's finally tip-top.
Rocky Myers, did you ever pass cross with Joe Amato? Yes. Actually, I did a story for, it was either Cars Illustrated or a Street and Strip Supercar with Joe about his business.
Keystone Auto Parts.
Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't friends with Amato, but I knew him. He knew me. I knew him. You know, he would say hi and chit chat. He was like my hero. He was a great guy. Oh, really sweet guy.
Like 91, 92, Joe was on his game.
Yep.
It was murderous. Joe knows. That's what they used to say. Joe knows.
Andy, I tell you what. If you where is he? Andy, you might. I tell you what. If you're interested in a dragster, right, that was literally built for a Ford, and still on the stand, it should still be. I had a friend. He died about 4 or 5 years ago. His name was Jim Barillaro, and he's out in Knoxville. Okay, actually, he's in what's the town next to Knoxville? Sevierville. Whatever it is, you should be able to find him
still fairly 40.
Easily. It's before Strawberry Plains. It's exit. He was off of exit 386 on I-40. But so actually, he's not too far from you, Andy. So at any rate, he died about 3 or 4 years ago. He was a Ford guy, and I was going to work with him on a Cammer-powered Nostalgia Top Fuel car. So he built the frame. It was on the jig. I want to say it's either 190 or 200-inch wheelbase car. It's like a copy of a Don Long car.
Oh, yeah. It'd been like 67, 68, somewhere around there.
It was brand new. No, he's building it.
No, I got you. But that 200-inch long car would have been about 67, 68. That's when they started going
67 long, right? Was 170-inch, 160, 170-inch. They didn't really hit 200 inches until about 70, 71.
Okay.
So, but at any rate, Jim was a master fabricator. And you might want to talk to his kids. I bet you they'll let go of it. Let's see.
Well, there we go. That's something we put that hammerhead-headed motor from Casper in that. That sucker will run.
Let's see.
Otto says, Tony, can you remind us of what cam is used in Plan Z of what timing is set to? Very snappy.
It's a comp cam. It's 230, 500 on a 109. And Andy,
I don't think it's a catalog piece, right? It's
No.
not an off-the-shelf piece.
No.
Yeah, called Polito.
Andy, I don't have contact information for him. It's Barrel Arrow Motorsports, Barrel Arrow. Oh God, I don't have a contact for him. It's been so long since you know what I mean. And he's dead. I hit his number. I don't have his kid's number, but his kids are like care. He's got Christmas Comet, and he's got
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that all that stuff's gone now.
No. He's got the Saxon Sons car, you know, the 64
Really?
car. Yeah. And he's got the flip top Comet.
Saxon Sons blown car, full body blown car.
Complete running car.
Yeah. Well, not what I'm talking about is like that's the motor setback full car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like where it was a real Comet, not a flip top funny car.
Yeah. Paul Sims, Tony, what's the definition of a hot rod?
I don't know. I've heard this like about 30 different directions and angles and definition of a hot rod.
To me, anything that's modified in the name of acceleration is a hot rod. But that's just me. Yeah, everybody has different, you know, so some people say, oh, hot rod is only in 1949 and earlier, or, you know.
That's ridiculous saying that, because that's, if you apply the hot rodder mentality to anything, you could have a hot rod lawnmower, you could have a hot rod scooter, right? That's like guys saying, oh, the only real Hemi is the 392. Like, well, no. You know, because then it was the 426 guy saying that about the 5.7s. So,
yes, the hot rod hoarder knows the family of with Christmas. Get a hold of the hot rod, Andy. Get a hold of the hot rod hoarder, and he'll give you their contact. Tell him I sent you. Let's see. Tyson King, is it worth lowering oil pressure at a 360B 200 for mileage?
no.
Probably not. Probably not. Run a thinner oil and see how that works for you.
Yeah, you can just go one step down. If you're running 1030, go to like a 520.
Hey, you want a water?
Sure.
Okay, I'll go get you water. You keep everybody.
And here's Wilburn pumping the no-name nationals. We'll have Hot Rod Coleman mini bikes in Sykeston, and I guarantee you most of them are going to be hot rod. If you see Kim Passable's video, she's got the whole entire clutch apart. So I'm assuming that it won't be long now, and we're going to have somebody that's got the motor torn apart and lightened up. And, oh, man, this is going to be fun. That monkey bike class is going to be insane. James Counts says, Tony, you should build a naturally aspirated front-wheel drive four-banger to see what you can get out of it.
You know, I like that kind of idea, but I mean, honestly, man, I have so many other things going on. I would rather hook up with somebody who's got a car like that and play with it. You know, just like John's Caddy. I love that car. I mean, I love that car. I don't want to own it. You know what I mean? I love that my friend has it, and I can take her around with it and take her for a spin, and that's as far as I want to go. You know, so it's the same thing with. I would love to get involved. I would love to mess around with a four-banger. I would love a Honda. I would love to mess around with a Honda. You know, a stereotypical Rice type car, but I don't want to own one. So I'd have to be where somebody comes into my life that has one and will screw around with it.
Big Belly Racing said, Dallas, you back to normal after the Rona? Tony and I were just talking about that a little while ago. I would not say fully 100% yet, but there's days that I feel, I'll tell you, some days I just feel like meh. And then some days I feel like, all right, let's take on Godzilla. And I'll work my butt off for 18 hours. And the next day, meh, right? Like, I know I overdid it at that point. I was never big on the front wheel drive stuff at all. It didn't matter if it was a 4-cylinder, import, American, domestic, whatever. It's always too cramped to work on them. You never have any real room, right?
Well, let's see. Wait, this Purple Heart person. Well, I don't have a Honda, but I do have a Mazda MX-60 you could take it with. Are you near Murfreesboro or Nashville? Let's see.
Lance King says, with early 70s cars getting harder to find, you name a few Mopars from the late 70s and 80s that might be plentiful and make a good build. You know, that's getting weird because isn't that where the years where Mopar got away from the rear-wheel drive platform? So you had like Diplomat and St. Regis was like your last of the dying breed.
There are bodies. The St. Regis
Is that what they are?
love those cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they rode
They're
nice.
extinct.
I know,
They're
but they
completely
rode so
extinct.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I think it was one of those things where literally the emissions crap just did them in. You know what I mean? The fuel economy drive and all that crap just did them in. I mean, they were already pigeonholed with all the lean burn, right? They literally had all the lean burn crap on them. I remember them just not running good at all. My buddy had one with a 2-barrel, 362 barrel, and lean burn. And that sucker was broke down more than it was going.
They were terrible. Those were dark days for Chrysler reliability.
Well, it was everybody was having problems at Ford had to shift their entire priority, became quality job one.
Yeah, I
right.
remember.
And then like GM, the only thing GM was making that was worth a crap, in my opinion, was a G body and a truck. Right? Like, well, you had S10 pickups, G bodies, and then your full-size trucks. Those are the only things that was worth a crap at the time.
Unity Motorsports, Dallas. Your thoughts on the new NHRA safety rule changes on new cars? I have something to say about that, but Dallas, he's asking you.
I don't know. I think to tell you the truth, I think what they're doing is they're selling themselves short standard-wise so they can bring in more cars and just increase car count. When all you got to do is literally treat people nicer, you can increase the car count. But I don't know. They say the standards for the safety. Okay, the engineering is what's driven the safety requirement, right? But let's look at it like this from another perspective. If the engineering has driven this, the cars now weigh like you go get a Mustang, they're probably 4,300 pounds. Right? They're not 2,400 pounds anymore. 2,800, whatever the 65 weighed. I think they've shortened their standards. They've given away their standards for the sake of having more cars.
Here's how I look at it, right? Because this is the typical NHRA misguided. I think they deliberately. I think the people at NHRA are deliberately trying to kill the sport. Period. The end. Right? Have you ever seen one of these Challengers crash at anything over, let's say, 100 miles an hour? Because I have, right? There was actually one not too far from here, about 3 or 4 miles up the road on 840. This was about 2 years ago. And I was there before, literally, things were still settling, right, after the crash. I didn't actually witness the crash. But it was a one-car crash, and he hit the guardrail, okay? And the car ripped in half. Right? Like literally just 2 halves. Now he was okay. He was still strapped into the front of it, but the car broke in half. And I've seen numerous accidents where these Challengers at speed will literally break in half. They come apart. There's too much weight. The friggin' cars weigh too much. And the sheet metal, it's a unibody car. There's so much weight when there's an impact that fractures the unibody in any way, all that inertia just rips it apart. And like I said, it's not my imagination. I've seen these things. They come apart. Same thing with Corvettes, right? I think it's a dumb freaking move. Let them run without a roll bar to 10.0. You go faster than that. You go faster than 130 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour. No, man. It's stupid. It's fucking pandering to the wrong people. If the NHRA really wants to do something for the racer to get the count back up again, get rid of the fucking SFI. Get rid of the 2-year belt bullshit. Get rid of all of that stuff. And that will bring people to the track.
And I'm not going to go out on a witch hunt here for these guys. But, I mean, like, if you want to know how far disconnected they are from the reality of what is drag racing, right? Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, they had the best opportunity in the world to make themselves look like a bunch of freaking geniuses, right? When coronavirus happened, they shut down, or I probably shouldn't say that. When the CV happened, the Rona came out, right? They shut down all racing, and then it started again in like June or July, maybe August, whatever. And the payouts were like peanuts. They started racing, like Top Fuel was getting paid like 15 grand to win or something ridiculous. It wasn't very much, right? They were complaining about they didn't have any money. They didn't have any money. They were broke because they weren't bringing in spectators. They weren't putting on events. Hey, it's understandable. Everybody's going through the same thing. But at the end of the year, the president took $940,000, right? Why didn't he throw that in a race? Throw some of that money in a race. Just take what you need to make ends meet, and then throw that in for your payouts. And the guy would have, it would have wrecked everything that was happening. But no one's willing to do that.
NHRA killed the spectator end of drag racing with SFI. SFI was the death thing because it put all of the little guys out. Okay, up until let's say 92, 93. Okay, there was only a couple of these SFI specs. Right, the last year that I was in it, 1998. Right, this is with Lagana. It cost us $5,000 for stickers. Okay.
Oh, for the chassis,
right?
Chassis tag.
By the time you ship the thing out, pay for the certification, it gets shipped back to you and all that other shit. Everything, when you added up everything on the car that had to have an SFI cert, it cost us $5,000 for stickers. That's it.
And it was good for
stickers.
1 year or 2 years.
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
The chassis tags.
The chassis, yeah.
For a fuel car.
Well, no, the back wheels had to be SFI. The clutch can had to be SFI. The clutch disc had to be SFI.
Oh, yeah. And then everything's got it's got an expiration date on it too. It's only good for 2 years, 3 years, 1 year.
There was an SFI spec and sticker for every freaking.
Well, there's one for your fire suit. There's one for the helmet. There's one for the sock. Your belt,
your gloves, and all this other shit. Please, I know. Unity Motorsports. That's exactly right. NSB. I don't know what NSB means. This is coming from a former NHRA tech man. Blood will be spilled over this and lawsuits will fly. I agree. It's just stupidity. It's just absolute freaking stupidity.
Just got a new issue of Mopar Action in the mail today. It has a photo of Big Daddy Don Garlitz wearing an AHRA t-shirt. He used to be the president of the AHRA back in probably 68 or 58, 59, something like that. It might have been earlier than that. He was the president of the AHRA. He's pretty much granted carte blanche when it comes to wearing AHRA merch. He's probably the only guy I've never gone after for, like, hey, you can't make shirts with that on there.
Yeah, no, the SFI was just an absolute nightmare. And they kept changing things over and over again. You could, every time you turn around, there was something else that was obsoleted because the SFI changed their spec on the thing. So we were forever, changing our clutch cans and, you can't have this anymore, you can't have that anymore.
When I write a rule book, right? This is 140 something pages. And you go back and you look at the 1960s rule books and they're like 62 pages, right? All of that stuff in there, it takes me months to write a rule book. And all of it's because all of that stuff changes throughout the year, right? You have to find every single one. You got to find the spec that it relates to, right? You got to make sure the spec is updated at the end of the rule book so that you have the most current specs. Because let's say you have an old spec in there.
Right.
Someone goes out and wrecks the car. Come to find out it's because of whatever that spec is, right? Who's lawsuit happy then? Well, the person that got in the accident. Or if, heaven forbid, they get killed, the family then comes after me. And it's like, God dang, guys. I'm just trying to have some fun here.
Franco 2K, research for a current nostalgia top fuel car are over $6,500 a year, not counting shipping. Wow. See, that was, for us, it was $5,000 with shipping. But yeah, not counting shipping. Could you imagine that? That's got to be way over $10,000.
Sean Fagan, please just street race. No. That's not the answer to it, right? That's where I have to I have to walk a fine line on a lot of this stuff because look at it from my perspective. If I tell a racer who's got some deadly fast, crazy car, hey, you can't come race at our track. That's an enclosed racing facility that doesn't have people fucking walking around, right? He's going to pull right out of the gate and race somebody right there if he wants. People walking around, Kyle's walking through the fucking street, whatever you have you, right? It's not a safe environment. I'd rather have them at the track and their junk just be completely unsafe than out on the street doing that. And that's what's ridiculous. You walk a fine line. How are you trying to help people? You're trying to force them to do all of this. And if they don't want to do it, they don't have to, right? But then they're going to go right on the street and put everybody's life in danger.
No, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's bad all the way around. That's why I stay away from all of it. I just stay away from all of it. I have no interest in it anymore.
I'm not getting emotional, Frank Caputo. It puts everybody in a bad position, right? It's like you got to turn down the racer. The racer then goes out and races on the street, right? If they crash, if somebody gets hurt, somebody gets killed, it's the racer's fault. But how bad do I feel about it? Because if the track was open and they weren't so stringent on all the stuff, you might have more people at the track, right? It's a catch-22.
Andy G's Garage is saying the only thing SFI is good for is cage specs like 25.5, 25.3, 25.1, etc. It gives a consistent standard. How about just well-trained tech inspectors? What's the matter with just well-trained tech inspectors? When I had my fuel altered tagged, okay? So I gas welded this car together in my garage, okay, to the 10-1B funny car spec, okay? Gas welded this thing, oxyacetylene, gas welded this thing together in my garage. I brought it out to Philadelphia to have it tagged, okay? The NHRA guy, the SFI guy, right, tells me to meet him on a bridge, okay? This is like at like 11 o'clock at night in the winter, okay? And he tells me to meet him at this bridge in Philadelphia. So I throw the car on the ramp truck and I drive out to Philadelphia and I go to the middle. You can't make this shit up, okay? I go to the middle of this bridge and there's like an area off to the side, like I guess where cops would park, and I park there. So the NHRA, listen to me, right? I should go blind if I'm lying about this, right? The NHRA, the SFI guy shows up. He's drunk out of his mind. Okay. It makes me pay him up front. He looks at the car like this. He goes, okay. And he sticks the tag on it and gets in his car and he weaves away down the friggin' bridge. There's an SFI freaking chassis certification.
Well, I got a similar story. That was my first year. See, I never had anything that was fast enough to require a chassis tag until 2014. Okay, that's when I built my T-Bird and I finally got it to where it was ready to go. And I was trying to make the Gators. Okay, but I found out you can't go to the Gators unless you have points.
Right, you run
right.
Points meet.
I got to run multiple points meets, so I have enough points to run a national event. Right. Okay, well that shit's out the window. But I got to have this guy come chassis certify, right, or certify my car's chassis is good enough. So he shows up and I meet him at a gas station. Right. Okay, so here I am at a gas station. I got the car on a trailer. He just walks up, looks at it. He puts this little it's a thickness testing device on the roll cage, right? He checks it like the thickness. All right. And crawls up under, oh, you don't have a blanket on the transmission. Okay, well, this is chassis certification, I'm assuming, right? Not full on, I'm getting ready to unload the car and go fucking make a pass. Right. Well, I'm not going to certify that, but I still need my $150 show up money. Right, plus the $150 for certify the chassis, which never even got done. Right, it's like this is a fucking shakedown of biblical proportions.
Yeah, so we had basically the same experience.
It's
just a shakedown. It's just a freaking shakedown.
Unprofessional. Just oh god, I just wanted to puke. But then it was the $300 with the license and the membership for X years and still we're going to throw you out because we don't like the way your car is put together. Like, yeah, you know, what? F this. Yeah,
right.
I'm sorry. I'm going off on my
No,
tirade.
that's okay because
This is exactly why I started doing the AHRA stuff, because this kind of horse shit is what really drove me nuts, man.
yeah, I don't care. You know, it's just like I've reached the point where I just don't care. You know how they used to check thickness before the sonic testers?
Uh-uh.
There would be holes drilled in the tubing.
Oh, then you could look at it.
Use a spark plug.
Oh, okay.
They would drill a hole in it. There would be holes drilled throughout the car where you'd need to check thickness, and they'd take a spark plug gapped to the thickness that the tubing is supposed to be, and they would stick it in there and make sure that it was the right thickness.
Huh. That's pretty cool. Well, and that makes a lot of sense. It's simple. But
Let's see.
eh,
Junkyard Boost, no prep is true grassroots drag racing without the stupid rules. I agree.
but the sad part, if you really want to know the truth of that, all those cars are built to NHRA spec. Why? Well, SFI spec. I'm going to say SFI spec. Why? Because pretty much all them rules are written in blood.
Well, I'm not seeing that the spec itself is bad.
No, it's a good thing, but the way it's implemented, like with the certification program, right? That's the thing that that's where it starts to go south.
Right. Let's see. Let's get back to. I want to stop ranting about this stuff. I feel my blood pressure.
Yeah, well, and I'm the same way. Well, and it's because you're passionate about stuff, right? And the sad part is, I'm passionate about drag racing. I'm passionate about. I even like NASCAR. I really think, all that stuff. I haven't watched a NASCAR race since the day Dale Earnhardt died, right? And really, it had already died before then. It was already going off the deep end, but there was just no reason to watch it then when once Dale died. And I wasn't even a Dale fan, right? Most of the guys, I kind of gravitated toward them, but you had, I tell you the guys I always liked, right? And this is weird. Lake Speed. Why? Lake Speed would show up at the track with a freaking ramp truck in 1990 to compete against guys that had a freaking a whole semi truck system, right? And it was great. I like who was Dick Trickle. The guy had a damn lighter built into this fucking dash of his car.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So he could smoke while he's racing. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it's like, that's the way it was supposed to be.
Drag racing was my life for a long fucking time, and it was the runaway rules or the NHRA pandering to the corporations and the big guys that put us out.
Andy says, "Let's hear that slant again to cheer everyone up."
You want me to start it? I'll start it again.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, I'll do that. That's fine. That's the sound of me getting in the car every time.
That's the old sound?
That's my sound.
Well, if you guys think that sounded good, you should have been at the Slanted Nationals last year, because there was a bunch of them that sounded like that. Well, not a bunch, but
well, it sounded great, but it ran like poo.
Well, I'll tell you what. And this car should have been comparative to the Ruster. It would have been like on the same kind of plane where same amount of horsepower, lightweight car.
Should have been, but I remember that was the first time that
Right.
car.
No, I got you. There's all kinds of bugs.
I had to learn a lot.
Sounds good, but there was a handful of them that would be in the same kind of category: lightweight, kick and slant motor. So we're doing that then again this year. It's not the slanted nationals. We're calling it the inliner showdown, but it's at KD Dragway on September 3rd and 4th.
Read Rebel Dart 1968. How do you all feel about 24 hours of Lemons?
I'm building a Lemons car right now.
Yeah, he's in the middle of building a Lemons and Mercedes with Buick power.
Yeah, well, we got motor trannies in it. Brakes are done. Suspension's done. We're just welding in the cage right now. That's actually what we're doing. And then once we're done with the cage, we're going to wire it up and she'll be ready to rock and roll.
Friend John, are you sure the frame can handle all that power? It's got the power of a weed whacker.
I don't know, man. The chassis is rocking back and forth pretty good.
It sounds good, but seriously, it's probably about the same power as like a stock 440. Not even. It's not.
It's probably the stock or the same power as a stock 340.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the chassis is more than capable of handling that engine.
Even with no roll bar, no roll cage. I mean, it's super duper lightweight.
It'll never go fast enough to need any of those.
No, I know, but I mean, there's no increased rigidity in this car. It's like the complete opposite of that, right? It's like a damn sponge.
Yeah, it's just a fun thing. It's just something to tinker with.
Well, that's what's good about it. I mean, think about it. What is the drawback of running let's say a small cubic inch car? Well, it doesn't have the hairy horsepower of a big cubic inch car, but you don't have all the mandated safety requirements, right? There doesn't have to be a roll bar in this until you start cracking in the nines.
No, roll bar. Oh, so you mean
like a cage? You won't need anything like that until you start running the nines in the quarter, 640s in the eighth, right?
No, well, it's about 750 in the eighth
for a
roll bar.
Yes,
and it's 10.0. Oh no, it's 1150 in a quarter mile for a roll bar, 10.0 to a cage.
If you run in the NHRA,
right?
Yeah, you run mine. I don't have a roll bar requirement. You know why? Because I thought it was stupid that a brand new car that you could drive to the track, you would have to bolt a fucking roll bar in it when you might have a kid seat in the back and still making payments on it. I thought that was retarded. Okay, yeah, and that's why we fired the slant up, so we didn't have to talk about that stuff.
That's right. Don't make me fire it again. I think it's out of gas.
It sounded like it was sputtered there when the last time you.
Yeah, I believe it's out of gas.
Old's Jetfire. Dallas, did you know of Zimmerman Machine Shop in Greensburg, Indiana? I believe he had record-setting Buick engines he built for people.
Who's that?
Zimmerman Machine Shop.
Oh, Old's Jetfire. Hey man, I saw the Jay Leno thing, man. That was awesome. Good going.
Yeah, Jay loved the car.
Yeah. Yeah, so Old's Jetfire. I think it's Jay Leno's last video, or maybe the video before. I think he just did something on the Mustang Mach-E, but he did Old's Jetfire's car. So definitely go over to Jay Leno's garage and check that out. I was like, I know that guy. I did that story first.
I have never heard of that Zimmerman Machine Shop. I know of a couple other guys, but Zimmerman I've never heard of.
What year was the Dart originally? Originally, it was a 69, but I took the marker lights out of it, so I stuck a 67 grill in it.
Let's see. Chevy 305 can rev up to 10K. I don't know about that. I know a 301 Chevy will run to 10K.
Big Belly Racing. Uncle Tony, what's the plan to mount the rad and slag hammer? I don't know. We haven't gotten to that point yet. We will.
He's still doing body work.
Yeah,
it's looking good though.
It's got a ton of body work to still be done, and we got to work out the rear suspension too. We got to take the whole rear suspension out and get it to where it's the right height and the right everything. Well, it's
way too high.
Yeah, it's way too high.
What about the front here?
The front's perfect.
Front's looking a little gnarly, like with those tires. You need the right offset.
We'll have the right tires on there. It'll be right. But I mean, that's beautiful. It's just... It's so 60s. It's as 60s as you could get.
Well, it's beyond stink bug stance, right? It's like, I don't know what you would call that. Street freak of the mid 70s, late 70s.
It'll be level.
Level.
It'll be completely level.
Okay.
Let's see.
Man, why is everybody talking about a 305 Chevy? It's like the most anemic Chevrolet small block ever made.
Motorcycle tow service, Cycle Man Towing. Don't ever talk to Jay Leno, not who you think he is. Is that true? I don't know.
I don't. Is there a conspiracy theory about Jay Leno?
Is he? Maybe he's one of them. What do you call them? Not the lizard. The shape-shifting reptilians. I mean, he might be. You know?
Sure, but I look at it like this: how many car people have you met that are really just dickheads? Right? Generally, the dickheads are like not car people. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it.
What's this now? Creekside Garage. Will we be having an open house for Power Tour? No. Mr. Will Big Garage. We have to give Mopar Al some props. He's working his ass off. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And his truck got freaking bashed.
Yeah.
Look at it. I guess, has anybody looked to see if the frame's straight on it still?
The frame, I think frame's got like a 1/4-inch kink. It's mostly just.
Oh, they can pull it out though.
Did it? I haven't been paying attention.
Oh, I figured he said the guy was going to come on Monday to look at it. I thought maybe he wanted to say something to you.
I haven't seen him. The last time I saw him was Monday.
Oh, all right.
Lout Burns says Jay has always been great with friends of mine. Yeah, I mean, I've never met the guy, but I've never heard anything bad about him.
See, and oh, man, everybody's talking about all these the Chevrolet small the 327 cubic inches is smaller small block Chevys, right? Mm-hmm. But everybody's in love with 305, and then one guy's saying 307 is much better than 305, and this guy's saying 307 is puke. All right, if you guys really wanted to see something cool, the 307 has the same bore as a 283, right? Same bore. There was somebody that did. I saw a video it's on YouTube, I think. Maybe Facebook, but I think it's YouTube. There's a guy built a full-on race 307 Chevy. He's like, it's got the same bore as a 283. Why would it be bad? Why would it be terrible, right? Because the 283 ran good. Mm-hmm. So he built a full-on race 307 Chevy, and it was like 600-something horse out of the 307. And it wasn't super exotic. You know, it was just like regular off-the-shelf pieces.
Jonathan Couchy, thank you for the super chat, but that's a really odd suggestion. Put a 277 crank. A 277 is like the smallest Plymouth poly head. And crank in a 273 and make it a 245 stroker. It would be a 245 D stroker. Why would they do that though?
I'm wondering if you can put that 277 crank in a 340.
Why? Why would they do that?
Oh man, talk about revving. It would be like a 302 Chevy.
No, it already is like a 302 Chevy.
It'd be even better. See, and here's something that no one ever thinks about, right? Okay, my personal opinion, this is mine, but this is common sense, all right? And you can weigh in on this and tell me how far off I am on the loop, right? Let's say you build 400 cubic inch small block Chevy, big bore, short, it's fairly short stroke, right? But it's the longest stroke out of the small blocks. If it runs good, and let's say it makes 450 horse, it just runs okay. It's a fairly stock motor, right? But if you take that thing and let's just say you put a shorter stroke in it with the same bore. Now, there's not going to be any shrouding, and the engine is a smaller cubic inch, but the heads technically would flow better than they did with in reality, the number is the same, right? But the volume that it has to feed is smaller, right? Meaning that the head would be a better head on that smaller cubic inch engine, right? That's where if you run an engines with limited cylinder head volume, a smaller cubic inch isn't a bad thing. That's why the Chevrolets, that's why the modified guys were running 287 cubic inch motors, 292s.
Well, it's
right?
to fit the class.
Well, sure, but the heads didn't flow. Otherwise, you could have ran the 350 and stomped all over a 287.
But the car would have to weigh 5,000 pounds.
Well, true. Well, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it was weight to cubic inch, but okay. But yeah, that cylinder head, I think personally, if you can't get the heads to flow, decrease the cubic inch that it's got to feed, and the heads will flow, become much more significant, better set of heads.
Got a Sherry Farris. Sherry, how are you, Sherry? What did you think of our video with John yesterday? You got your T-shirt today. Excellent. That's John from Junkyard Jet's mom, Sherry. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah.
There you go. Mike Batista said everything that needs to be said about a 305. The only reason to run a 305 is for miles per gallon.
Jethro Hull, thank you for the super chat. Swap to carb. I'm now using an Edelbrock 4 to 6 psi pump on a Fram rail with a 750 Pro form. Okay. Will the old EFI filter restrict the new pump? It shouldn't. No, you'd be fine.
Yeah, that filter doesn't know anything about pressure. It's just all about volume.
Right, and it will definitely pass enough volume to keep the carburetor happy.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Crystal Pringle Smith. I have a 2010 Charger with a 3.5. Can I put a 440 in it without doing a bunch of mods? That's a really good question.
I don't have a clue. I would assume it would have to be a K member, but I'm almost certain that there's people running around that have already done it.
Oh, I'm certain there is, but I don't know any of the details involved. I mean, it can't be that difficult. There's going to be probably some frame mount welding, for pads, to put pads in the right place. But I don't think it would be entirely out of the question. I would talk to somebody who does Hemi swaps, that puts Hemis into earlier cars that originally had 440s, because they'll know exactly the difference, what they have to do to put the Hemi in an early car. So you would just need to do that backwards and put the 440 in the new car.
Here's someone that is making me snicker here. Okay. Do you know Dalton Summit?
Offhand, no.
Okay. Pole Barn Garage.
Okay.
He bought at that great Mopar Ford. He bought this Swiss cheese GTO that they shot full of.
I can't wait to see that.
And he's going to be at the No Name Nationals, but he's asking it. He's throwing this troll question out here. My car is full of bullet holes. How do I fix it? There's an easy one for this, Dalton. Easy. All right, so you go back to the trunk lid, and you take the Pontiac emblem off the trunk lid, and you drive an entirely new GTO under there, and you put that emblem back on that new GTO. And that's how you fix that. Simple, easy. Come on, man. Throw a real tech question out there. Jeez.
I like the holes.
Oh, man. Have you seen it?
I saw a couple of pictures of it.
This thing, he calls it the Holy GTO, and it's spelled like HOLEY, right?
Yeah. No, I love it. I
was trolling him the other day on Facebook. I told him, he said he puts a, like a fence latch to hold the door shut, because there's nothing to attach anything to, right? It's like shot full of holes. So he drills a couple holes in there and puts a fence latch on there to hold the door shut. Hey, well done. And I said, dude, come on. This kind of hackery right here is what makes me not want to watch your channel. I said, you should have drilled a couple more holes and put some rebar in it.
Jethro Hull sent on a super chat. Thank you, Jethro. Uncle Tony, the new fuel pump at carb is 3 PSI. And no bueno. No bueno. You definitely have to get it up to the 5 to 6 PSI range. Minimum 4.5. So here's the question I have about this. At the No Name Nationals, right? Can we shoot the car?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question for him. Well, Dalton, where are you at? Pole Barn Garage.
Dalton, you need to listen to me, man. You need to do something for charity, okay? And you got to let people shoot your car. You got to let people shoot your car. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, well,
Anything but the tires. Just, you can't shoot the tires.
Well, he put a motor and tranny and stuff in it. This thing drives.
That's all right. Well, you can't shoot the tires. You can't shoot the motor. You can't shoot the glass.
Okay, but so put one through the quarter panel. $10 a shot, 30 and smaller, please.
Yeah, no, I'll bring a 22, man. That'd be awesome. Definitely. Put me down for 10 shots.
Well, that's what you know what? That's what he should do. Hey, let's say Dalton, let's just say let's put it up to like $50 a shot, but then they get to sign their name at the bullet hole they created. For all these content creators. That would be cool.
Angel Gonzalez, thank you for the super chat. Best crate engine with carb for a 74 W200 truck. If they still make that 360, Chrysler had, I don't know if they still have them or not. They were doing a 364 barrel crate motor that would be perfect for that.
I don't know if anybody's doing crate motors anymore.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't know who's doing what anymore.
But I know Blueprint kind of stepped in to do a lot of those.
Yeah.
And Blueprint was doing like a Mopar 408. It wasn't a monster by it was virtually like your 360. What was that 360 motor they called? It was a 360 horse and 410 foot-pounds of torque. I can't remember what that crate motor was.
I'm drawing a blank on it.
It was out in like the early 90s, and it probably lasted through the 2000s. I'm assuming that they don't do them anymore just because they don't have the tooling for the casting.
Well, I remember that they had it was a 360 Magnum, and then they had a 408 version of it, or 402 version, whatever it was. It was a 4-inch stroker crank Magnum with a carburetor. But I don't know if they still make them or not.
I don't know either. It's been so long since I looked up a crate motor.
All I want to do is shoot a GTO now.
I'll tell you what, if you want to shoot something, there's a 67 Buick Special up in Nashville for sale for like $300.
Why don't you buy it?
It is a pile. And it says parts car, right?
Right.
Well, that's kind of what you need when you're going to start off with something like what Dalton's got, right? It's like something that's like no one's literally cared about in years, and then you just get it running and driving.
Yeah, but it's a shame. I couldn't.
The guy listed all the stuff that's bad. He's like, needs floors, needs quarters, needs doors, needs fenders. And then he got to the end and said, I probably should have just listed what it doesn't need, right?
Yeah, but you see, here's the thing, right? People will look at that. Okay, so you got some people look at that and say it has a hole this big in the floor, and people say, oh, it needs floor pans, and oh, it's too much work. And then guys like people look at it and say, well, I'll just weld a piece of sheet metal in there and it's done, right?
Yeah.
So it's like what's one person's trash is another person's treasure.
Well, I just thought, man, I got enough Buicks that I could easily put a motor and training in that thing, have it running by the end of the month. Oh, what is it? So Lout Burns says, Dallas, yes, that 360 came with its own computer system. Oh, computer system? I thought it was a carbureted motor.
Well, the thing about the Magnums,
it was the Magnum 360.
The thing about the Magnums is that it's easy to run a standalone harness with it. Like all of the wiring having to do with the running of the engine is all under the hood.
Oh, right, because it's just literally just the engine.
Right. 20,000 in Dynacom sheet metal, it would be a car. But that's what I'm saying, Mike. Some people look at a car like that and say, well, yeah, I got to put floors and I got to put this. And other people like me look at it and say, well, I'll just weld up that.
Well, look at Dalton. He's like, he went out and got a car that literally was worthless to no one, right? And was like, fuck it, I'm not going to put anything but a motor and a tranny in it. And that's what he did. I mean, he's got this thing running and driving. And it's literally shot full of holes. This thing. I remember, the saddest thing I ever seen was in 1992. I got done with wrestling practice at high school, and me and my buddy went hunting for rabbit or quail on his farm. And I happened upon like a 70. I want to say it's a 70 Super B in this what they used to call hedgerows in between fields, right? Shot to death. It was sublime. It had the blacked out hood. It was originally a 383 4-speed car, and it was just shot up. And it wasn't probably 1/3 as bad as Dalton's car. And I was like, oh man, well, that's too bad. I'll never touch that one.
Dalton's car is going to end up very famous.
It is, because it is the one of, right? Because no one else, I'm literally, just like I'm telling you the story now, how many more people went out and saw shot up cars in a hedgerow and said, fuck this thing, right? And left it. But this guy pulled it out and did something cool with it.
Dalton is going to set a new standard for riding muscle.
Well, he said, okay, pole barn garage, I'm trying to find all the range time cars I can.
Oh, nice. He must have put together a whole collection. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, and unfortunately, you know, like, okay, some people on here may not be old enough, or some people just remember the watercolored memories from years ago. But if you do remember, muscle cars, like, you know, like maybe not so much Plan Z here, right? But like true muscle cars were literally distressed merchandise, 1976, 7, 8, 9, right? The gas embargo and Jimmy Carter had pretty much made them worth nothing. You couldn't get any fuel economy out of them, and gas was $4 a gallon back then. So
you have no idea how much I want to shoot Plan Z right now. Just put one random hole in it.
Corey Funk, did you start up Plan Z yet? Twice, 2 times. You got to go back to the beginning and watch the whole video. Probably 10 minutes in and you fired it up the first time?
Yeah.
And then maybe an hour in.
Just fast forward to where you don't see us sitting in the chairs, and that's where the car was running. Let's see. Mr. Wills, Tone, did you ever see a lime green Duster built by Wild Rides run down in Englishtown in the late 90s with solid 8-second car? Bro, in the 80s, the middle 80s, all the way through the 90s, the only thing I was concerned with was nitro cars. I had no conception that there was anything else even happening.
He just watched dragsters go down the track. One dragster.
Yeah, you go to the races, right? You say, "Oh yeah, you're going to see a bunch of racing." No, you get to see one car go down the track, right? That's it. The rest of the time, you're working on that one car.
Cougarino G says, "Shoot Plan Z, call it speed holes." Dude, there's already like a zillion speed holes in it. Can you not see those? Am I in the way? I mean, there is. That car it is speed holes. Yeah. When I first met Tony, he told me there's nothing lighter than a hole, right? Which that's what should have ended up on a shirt.
Jonathan Couchy, what was it like when you realized the 318 was a good hot rod motor? Honestly, bro, it blew my mind, okay, because I had never paid any attention to it. But when we put the motor on Bottle Rocket, and I took her for that like the first romp around the block, and just like off, you know, just rolling in first gear. I stomped it, and I was expecting it to go wah, but it broke the tires. I banged second. When I hit second, and I pulled like a rocket. I'm like, this is not possible from a 318. But yeah, there's actually videos of it. You can go back. You could see, I think I did a video called Recipe for a Hot Street 318 or something like that. We did it probably about 2 years ago now. And you go back and you can see like that was the first time I ever drove that car around a block. And it was it was amazing. It was magic. You know, the car's got a lot of problems, but the motor was never one of them. Power was never one of them.
Well, and that's funny because it's coming from you. You did the Mustang 5-liter era stuff. Yeah. Right? When the 302, I mean, the heads on those years, they sucked. But, I mean, that was probably the meanest thing you could buy at the dealership that was easily attainable, right? I mean, yeah, you had Grand Nationals out there. But let's face it, guys. The reason why Grand Nationals didn't overtake 5-liter Mustangs was they cost $26,000 when a 5-liter Mustang was what, 19? Probably 19 grand.
Wait, what was 19
20
grand?
grand. Mustang back then?
No, mine was $10,000.
Okay, there you go.
$10,400.
The Grand National was like 26 grand at that time. The GNX was $30,000, and those things were sitting in dealerships until like 1992. It's easy to say, well, and so yeah, the 318. When you compare it to a 5-liter Mustang, did it run harder than your Mustang ever did?
Well, the Mustang was stock. The Mustang was just tuned stock.
Right.
This 318 would have
Ran
ran
all over
away
it.
and hid from it. Yeah. But like the guy says, the car's had a lot of problems, but power has never been one of them.
What came on 318 with W4 heads was pretty sick. What came with W4 heads? Those were never a factory piece, right?
Probably some kind of, 318 with W4 heads would, that's some kind of like maybe road race thing? I don't know.
Well, didn't the W2s come on like the little red wagons and all that?
Supposedly, but they didn't. They were just.
They didn't?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Dallas has had too much coffee. No, I haven't had any coffee.
I need coffee.
I'm just wound tight today for some reason. My buddy traded his GNX for a 68 Formula 340S. Wow, did he get a bum deal? What's the most expensive 68 Formula S340 Barracuda on the planet? Probably like 20 grand, 25 grand, maybe. If that's maybe, I guess, if you got the 383 car.
383, like a Formula S 383 car.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, it got to be over 25 grand now.
But I mean, the GNX just sold it just sold one on. It wasn't Barrett Jackson. It was like Neekum. It's like $100,000
because the rich are diving into this stuff.
Yeah, well, that's fine because that's going to put the money back in the poor guy, and then they just tax you and get it all back.
Joe K is saying, "Do you think we're headed that way again with gas plus inflation?" I mean, my personal opinion is that we're on the verge of a complete and total economic collapse. We just keep going, you know what I mean? Because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so just keep them going. But I would be stocking up on a lot of things right now. How are you?
Andrew 406 says, "I once knew a cat that put a 455 Buick in a Gremlin." You want to talk about a handful? That's got to be a handful. That's a shitload of torque for that little short wheelbase Gremlin. I mean, even the 401s were hairy.
Bruce Sherrill, it would be a good time.
There you go. Frank Caputo says GNX 275K.
Yeah. Bruce Sherrill saying it would be a good time for the mile per gallon improvement videos. Yes, and there's actually one coming tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yes.
On the Super Cub?
No, on power timing.
On
power timing, because the caddy was a good example of. I don't want to give away the
timing
plot
being all
of the
out of
video.
whack.
Yeah, I don't want to give away the plot of the video right now, but that's one we're doing tomorrow. Not with that car, but just the concept.
Oh man.
Wheelie King 71. It frustrates me when people don't understand what you're working through. If Bottle Rocket, for what it's worth, Tony, I'm sure there are more than me out there who get it. Oh no, I know that it's a couple of asshats that just love to throw their gums around. People who've been following along and know what the car consists of and all of that get it. They understand. No, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all.
Is it happening again? Same group?
What's that?
The asshats bumping their gums about it?
Oh, there's always a group. I've got a group of trolls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a troll farm. You know what I mean? Bottle Rocket is top secret. Well, as of right now, given the nature of its mission, yes. Bear Rose Garage invests in precious metals, Ford, Mopar, Chevy, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. Yeah, that is a form of precious metals, for sure.
Chris Cox from Fab Race Mod Repeat says there's a troll for every video.
There is. But that's how you know you're doing well. You know what I mean? When you've got trolls. If you're not, you know what I mean? Trolls only happen because you hurt somebody's ego. And the way you can hurt somebody's ego is if you're successful in whatever way. You know, either you've outthought them, outsmarted them, outdone this, outdone whatever it happens to be. You know, trolls only troll because you hurt their ego somehow. So you know you're winning, you know you're doing right when you get trolls. I get this one guy now. His name is what is it? Sleazak?
He trolls every video.
Oh God, yeah. This guy comments over and over. It's like there'll be like a video and he'll put like 5 comments in there.
440,000 for a mod top 340 Barracuda Formula S.
Yeah, I believe that. Try to find one.
Well, I tell you what, and the sad part was I remember reading an article. It might have been you that did it. Did you do Mopar Action?
Yes.
Okay, well, it might have been you that did it. I read an article. There was an article of I had a 340 Formula S in 1991, 92. I pulled it out of a field, much like Pole Barn Garage, but mine was not shot up. Somebody had sanded it down like they were going to paint the car, and then literally put it outside for 30 years, right? So you could have like thrown a dead cat through the quarter panels on that sucker. It would have went in one and out the other and never hit a damn thing. But I wanted to build a mod top car out of that so bad because it was so rusted, right? And I'm like, you can't do anything with it. It was just, you're just going to sell parts off of it, really. And man, I wanted to build a mod top. And I was actually looking at 1970s wallpaper to put on the roof, right? So
it looks like a shower curtain.
That's what they use from the factory?
No, but I mean, it looks like a shower curtain.
Oh, it does. It does. Yeah, and they're different looking, that's for sure.
Let's see. Rider of a Pale Horse. Thank you, my evil friend, for this $6.66.
You know, if you use that money to eat lunch or something like that, you're gonna have an upset stomach.
You think?
Yeah.
Brandon Griffiths, Uncle Tony, what's the craziest car story you've got from your younger years? My younger years is nothing but crazy car stories, bro. I can't even begin. I'll
get banned from the internet if I think I told my stupidest car story.
A lot of my stories, you wouldn't even. A lot of my stories I won't tell because there were no witnesses to them. And it's like, if you don't have a witness, if you don't have someone say, yeah, that really happened. It's like, just save it. Just keep it to yourself.
Otto's asking me what made me gravitate towards Buicks and when did it start? Oh, man. I grew up in a Buick family. My dad raced Buicks from when I was born until I pretty much moved out of the house. And then he continued racing them. And he continued racing my Buick. But then I got into Ford 5-liter stuff because not so much the Mustangs. The Mustangs were, if you know, I got a Thunderbird, right? But the Mustangs were expensive. People wanted them, so it made them pricey. And matter of fact, you couldn't find a good one, a 5-liter Mustang that wasn't just thrashed by 1997 or 8. So I bought a Thunderbird 5-liter that the old man had, and it was a really clean car. And it's virtually the same thing, except for it's got the not HO 5-liter in it, but it's just as simple as taking that out and putting a HO 5-liter in them. And then it's the same car, but it's got 4 inches of wheelbase, so they ride nicer and they go like stink. But then from the Ford thing, I was on the Ford kick up until just a few years ago. My dad passed away. He had a garage, well, I'm going to say a barn full of Buick stuff that he had squirreled away for 50 years. And some of my family just recommended I scrap it. So instead of scrapping it all,
can you imagine? Imagine how many times that happens?
Oh, probably a lot. And I brought it all home. I had 16 motors and 4 transmissions, and I still got 70 stage 1 that I got to get to one day. So if I ever get past all these parts, I'll I'll probably not be so Buick centric.
Doug Narden is saying, he's talking about stories like Tony racing butt naked. Yeah, but you see, I had witnesses for that. And Neil Van Opry witnessed that. Scotty Guadagno witnessed that. So there's witnesses to that. I could tell that story.
You know, I'll tell you one that's makes me feel very stupid, but I'll tell you one. My buddy and I bought this Ford LTD, and it was like a 85 model or something. It had the variable Venturi carburetor on it. So it was like 83, 84.
Yeah.
And we were bringing it home, and we started jumping it over these railroad tracks. And if you've never been to the Midwest, where there's railroad tracks in the middle of these fields, yeah, and they're raised because the entire track has to be raised above the because if it rains a lot and it floods,
right,
the tracks will sink in the ground, right? So they raise them all high so you can see the trains but the tracks, when the roads come to them, are literally like a 6-degree grade.
We've all run across them.
Oh, yeah. And this LTD ran across them like 70 miles an hour. And I mean, was airborne like you wouldn't believe. So I take my turn at the wheel. I jump it a couple of times. And I try to do, I don't know what they used to call it a Rockford, right?
Okay.
You know, where you're driving backwards and flip the whole thing around and throw it and drive,
Yep.
right? No, I did that, and I ended the car up nose heavy in the ditch. And it was a pretty steep ditch, and I couldn't get out. I couldn't back it out. So my buddy started walking back to his house, get his four-wheel drive truck, and I came up with this ingenious idea, right? I don't need no damn four-wheel drive. This is a Ford 302. So I throw a spare tire under the tire,
Okay.
start her up, throw her in reverse, and it's spinning the tire on that spare tire. So I'm like, all right, well, I just put a brick on the gas and start jumping on the trunk lid, right?
Okay.
You can see where this is going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
intelligent. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Nice.
across the road, up the ditch, through the field, wide open in reverse. And all I did was roll over the front of the car. And that's like,
Nice.
you got to make stupid mistakes like that to to help you realize how dumb you shouldn't be.
Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage, thank you, man. Tone, have you ever read any of my comments I leave in your videos? I always tell people to shut up and learn. I do see that comment, and I thank you for that support. But sometimes there are people who have people don't have to agree with everything I say. There are different ways, there are different methods. There's a difference between people just throwing out, just like spewing random facts, and or what they believe to be as facts, and somebody who actually has hands-on experience that sees things a different way, gets results a different way, gets better results than I do. And I'm all ears. I listen and I watch for those. It's the know-it-alls, the ones who just spew just stupidity. Those are the ones that get me. But, you know, yeah, I do appreciate you standing up for me. The Rockford Files black turn. We used to call that a bootlegger's U-turn in New York. That was a bootlegger U-turn.
Well, what's funny, here's
Two
Hacks
Hacks Garage.
Garage. That's a guy named Jive Hive Jeff.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Okay. He's from a small town in Illinois called Hayworth, which is literally like 20 miles from where we're doing this dumb shit with this Ford LTD, like in the middle of nowhere. So he knows exactly. Yep. He could probably picture it in his mind.
Oh, it's happened to me countless times. Like, cause you know, you take a shortcut, you know, an interstate shortcut between Midwestern towns or cities. Yeah. And it always happens at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're always just driving along, and the next thing you know, you're airborne.
Straight up. Yeah. But I was just a dumb kid, just like everyone else was once. So but it takes doing stupid stuff like that. So my buddies and I used to do this thing that we had it was called Payday Friday, right? So Payday Friday, everybody would show up payday. They'd buy $100 car. Okay. And we would race through the waterways through these fields, and they'd all come right back around in a big U, but it's all grass waterways, 100 yards wide, right, for the water to drain in from these fields. And we'd be toe to toe, wide open, bashing the shit out of each other in $100 car. And you don't know what the other guy might show up with. Like, man, I got myself a pristine Impala, right? Or a Caprice. And back then you could buy stuff for $100 that ran.
Sure.
And there was like guys that show up, what was that? International Scout. One of the guys had an International Scout he bought, right? It was a 4-cylinder model. The most anemic thing you've ever seen.
Thing, I know very well.
But it had like 685 gears in it. It probably wouldn't run 45 miles an hour. But we were like, he would literally drive over you.
Right.
That thing. Oh, it was a blast. It was so much fun, but we were dumb as hell and nobody had any kind of safety. I don't think we even had seatbelts or helmets or nothing. I don't remember any of that.
No, you don't need any of those things. You take the you take the impact, you roll with the punches, you pull the glass out of your cheek,
dude,
and you go and do it some more.
There was one guy hit a culvert and ripped the whole axle out of the car at like 50 miles an hour. And he slid sideways and caught the tire inside a culvert, inside of like a 16-inch culvert. And it was just big enough that tire fucking fit right in. And the whole car kept going. And that axle stayed in that culvert, which is buried, a couple 100 yards in dirt. So, oh, nuts, man. We used to really enjoy growing up in the middle of nowhere.
He is mighty proud of his physique.
Who's that?
Oh, the streak. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay. You know the song? Do you know the song?
By Ray.
I don't know who did it.
They call him the streak? Yeah. See, Jive 5 Jeff, he's doing the same thing. Well, that's good. Central Illinois is still happening for all of the really dumb stuff with cars. That's the stuff I should have, like, Whistling Diesel wouldn't even exist today if I would have had YouTube back then. Oh my God, man. People would forget about that dude.
He's great. Let me tell you something. I'm a big fan.
Oh, no, he is good. I'm just saying there was a lot of other people that did the same thing. It never.
Well, I'm not a fan. Here's the thing about Whistling Diesel. I'm a fan of his. Like, I like him. I like the kid's attitude.
Oh, he's a go-getter.
I'm not a fan of what he does. You know what I mean? I'm not big into
destroying stuff.
You know what I'm saying? But it's his attitude. You know, he's on like a mission for righteousness. You know what I mean? He wants to find righteousness any way he can, and his way of doing it is by destroying stuff. Well, the kid. There's a lot of quality to that kid.
We used to do dumb stuff like that, but we did fun stuff too. We built demo derby cars, and we'd build cars just to flip them. But I think you got to have those kind of dumb mistakes so you realize what to do and what not to do later in life.
Let's see.
I mean, but that's where I learned how to paint stuff, right? Was that. Like, take a car you don't care about and paint it, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, listen. Do you realize? I know you believe that.
No.
Tonight flew.
I know.
Tonight flew.
It's probably for me getting fired up the whole evening.
So let's talk about the No Name Nationals. What is the latest on the No Name Nationals?
Oh, well, John Wilburn and I have a live on Friday.
On which channel?
On John Wilburn's channel.
Okay.
To discuss everything that we've kind of come up with for the past couple of weeks. We do it every 2 weeks. But the big things for the No Name Nationals, what's changed? Okay, here's something that's new. And I'm not going to throw any names or any stuff out there, but this thing's actually gotten big enough now because everyone's promoting it. They're promoting their channels. There's like 900 videos and 110 channels or something promoting it. And we're starting to get all of the sponsors coming around. So they're all knocking on the door. And there will be some sponsorship of some sort somewhere at this event. We're going to try it. The thing is, we don't want it to be a corporatized mess. Does that make sense? That's what all of your regular stuff is a corporatized mess. What it's good about the No Name Nationals, it's still
grassroots.
It's grassroots and innocent. It's
completely
right?
grassroots.
And that's what John and I are trying, not to sell the farm, but yet let those guys participate.
All right, Tall Garage just sent $10. Thank you, Tall Garage. I appreciate the super chat. During a giveaway for the end chambers, I chopped off the LS heads for the Ford 300. Tonight is last call. If you want to need paperwork, go like, comment on the giveaway video to enter. So there you go. A free chunk of an LS head. I mean, how do you beat that, right?
You know, and see, this guy right here, he makes me want to go. So there's something I've been kicking around for a long time. Stage 2 Buick V6, limited production. Series 2 V6, very much a stage 2, right? I thought about cutting a couple of sets of those Series 2 V6 Buick heads and weld them together to fit on a small block Buick. I thought it would be neat. I've never seen anybody do it. I don't know if it's even possible.
If you and John, so you're going to do Mike. Oh, thank you, Mike. What is your opinion on racing fuels? Most bang for the buck?
Nitro.
I'm a nitro guy. I mean, that's my background is a nitro. So it's like, yeah, I understand bang for the buck. I mean, what's out there now between your alcohol blends and your oxygenated gasolines, and I honestly don't know. I don't know what the biggest bang for the buck is.
If you're starting from scratch, right? E85 is probably where it's at. E85.
I have no experience with it.
Well,
but I tend
the
to
reason
agree
why I
with him.
say that, $2.80 a gallon. I don't care what your gas is now. Go price some race gas. Okay, you're talking 9, 10, probably maybe upwards of $11 a gallon these days. $2.80 a gallon for 100. What is it? 106 octane, 104 octane, 108 octane. It's high.
Did Mopar Al just pop in here? I thought I saw. Oh, there he is. Mopar Al, what's happening, brother, man? No video today. Didn't see a video from you today. So what I was going to ask you, if you and John, do you want to do a live? Do you want to use my channel to do the live? I don't have to be on it. Well, you'll reach a bigger audience.
Oh no, we're already planning to do it on John's channel, but we can probably do one in the future.
It's up to you. It's up to John. Whatever you guys want to do, and whatever comes in super chat, you guys could just have.
We've been doing pretty good. Did you know that we were pulling like 90 participants on live?
That's not bad.
And then here's how John compares it. Okay, he said, "Man, when I got done with our live, I went over and watched Competition Plus's live, and they had 31 people watching John Force.
Because nobody cares about it anymore. It's over. That's done."
I just thought that was so funny. There you go, $10 a gallon for Sunoco, 105 octane at the pump in New Jersey. You know, if it's a race gas pump in Jersey, do you got to pump your own gas, or you got to let somebody else pump it?
Okay, you're killing it on your channel. Okay, as long as you got the audience that you're looking for. I'm just offering you the use of what we got
this
here.
Friday, John and I are going to be live again, talking about all the updates for the No Name Nationals.
What time Friday?
7 Central, 8 Eastern.
Okay, so that's 7. If you're interested in the latest update on the No Name Nationals, John Wilburn's channel, 7 o'clock Friday night.
And here's some interesting tidbit. Generally, what we'll do is we'll start it off by, hey, these are the No Name 500. That's our the race to 500 is the group of people that started off with nobody.
Okay.
Bought a registration and then expected to get the 500 subs and build a car for the No Name Nationals, right?
Okay.
So there's a big group of them, and we'll start off the whole show talking about who this week we're looking at Bear Rose Garage, or we're looking at Wild Rose Garage, or there's a slew of them. I can't even think of them off the top of my head. 2 Hex Garage, right? One last weekend it was Rabbit Transit Garage. Is that right, John? I can't remember. It was one of the Mopar channels. The guy was like 10 subs short. We're like, hey, come on, guys. This guy needs 10 subs by the end of the show. Bam. Here he was at 500 within like 10 minutes.
Nice.
Right. So it was
nice.
It was pretty cool. 31 are formally registered for the No Name 500.
Mike Patisa, UTG wins best Mopar channel. I don't want to be the best Mopar channel. I honestly don't. I just want to be a good car channel, that's biased towards Mopars. But I don't ever want to be known as the Mopar channel.
Not even a car channel. You should be the most Down to earth gearhead channel.
channel.
Yeah.
Right. Raining slants 6 with a chance of cannonballs. Just logged in. I know somebody probably asked this already, but did you finish getting slant 6 into Plan Z? I watched all. Yes, we've actually lit it off twice. If you go back
to the beginning.
Yeah, go back to the beginning. Like we did it about 5 minutes in, and then we did it again later on, just because we needed to smell good in here.
Actually, we were just trying to get rid of all the funk that had shown up. Mopar engine vacuum or Rover engine vacuum leak update. Found a couple leaks on the plenum. Still falling dead under load in gear. Saw smoke coming through the valve cover. Could it be bad valve seats or just valve stems?
No, probably not. Smoke coming through the valve cover is blow by, man. Your rings are probably toast.
Shot. Oh. I just run a compression test on that motor. Make sure they're all within 10% each other.
So,
Andrew 406 has a good idea. You should fire off Plan Z just to end the show.
I believe it was running out of gas.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's right.
Literally,
that's right.
I poured like a quart of gas. I had all of the shop gas that I had laying around. I poured in there. So at the end, it was like I could hear the pump wasn't making noise anymore. Let's see. Jersey Boy Greaser, opinion on a 64 Dart convertible with a 360 Magnum crate engine and a Tremec 5-speed for $25,000?
No, it's high. That's high.
Well, all cars are high right now. All classic cars are high.
64 Dart?
Honestly, if it was a 273 car, like if it was an original like 273 4-speed car, 64 convertible, yeah, I'd say that's worth every penny of $25,000. The fact that it's swapped kills the value.
It needs to be a really clean car for that kind of money. Really clean. I'm talking eat off it clean.
64 Dart convertible, 273 4-speed. No question is worth all day long at like a Barrett Jackson or something like that is worth $25,000.
That'd be that hypo.
No question about it,
right?
Yeah, the Magnum swap and the Tremec 5-speed cut the value in half.
Plan Z needs 513 gears. I don't think so.
Probably. Although it doesn't have enough cylinder head to carry 513 gears. Big Belly Racing, the Rona drove prices up on everything. No, the economic collapse is driving prices up on everything. Your dollar is worth less every single day and going like, please, I hope you guys are paying attention. Not the cars. Pay attention to the economy because things are happening now that are just like off the chain. First time ever in world history right now.
Gas fun.
Thank you, brother, man. I appreciate that. They won't stop printing money. No, and they're going to print even more.
Brandon did that.
Yeah. We try not to get political. We try not to go. New World Order. Well, yes, Mike. Franco, good choice, brother, man. Good choice. Stack that silver. Let's see. Dan Edwards, I think so too, Tony. My 69 Cutlass, how can I find anything original nowadays? That's why I won't drive it. People who are in the market for a classic car that have the loot to pay that kind of money for a classic car do not want a modified car. That's death. It's cancer. They don't want a modified car. They want an original car. They want a factory car. It doesn't have to be original. It can be redone. But as long as you open the hood and it has all of the original type of systems and everything, then it'll get the money. But as soon as you start swapping things in, you're crushing the value of the car. All right.
Plus that little 273 would have been pretty good on gas and just about ran with that 360 Magnum motor.
I don't know if I run with the 360 Magnum, but it would be good.
That was a hypo 273.
Not in 64. No, 64 is only available with a 2-barrel.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay.
65, they went to the
I took one of them apart. I found one in a hedgerow, right? And it was a 4-speed 273. It had to be 65 or 6 maybe. It was a 4-barrel. And
Yeah.
it had solid lifter cam in it with adjustable rockers. And that was the only way you could get adjustable rockers for small block Mopar.
Yeah. Well, for a while, yeah.
So I took those rockers and the push rods off and sold them.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So that's it. Friday night, right? Okay. Let's wrap this up now. Okay. So Friday night, 7:00, John Wilburn's channel. Go there. No Name Nationals update, and you guys have got this whole No Name Nationals community going. It's fantastic. Go be a part of that.
Rider of a Pale Horse at Sykeston, Missouri, September 30th and October 1st. Jeffers Motorsports Park.
Okay. So that's it. I think that's it. We'll be here on our regular Sunday night show, 7:00. We don't know, no guest this weekend, but I believe next week we're gonna have Steve on again. Steve Magnianti.
Steve Maggs.
Yeah, he's more popular on my channel than I am. It kills me. It kills
No,
me.
he's a good dude. I like
He's
him.
a great dude. All of our mods, Ari, John, Fubar Zero. Thank you guys for keeping this thing running tight and strong and everything. Everybody contributed super chat. Thank you so much. Look, I spend it over there. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Everybody contributed just with your presence and your good conversation and being a part of the greatest automotive community on YouTube. You guys are the elite. Thank you so much. Right? We're not the biggest. There's lots of channels that are bigger, right? But I mean, the community here is just off the chain. You guys are just fantastic. And I watch other channels lives, and I'm like, nah, my crowd's definitely got an edge here. So thank you all for being you and being part of this. And that's it, right? Until
don't put your car in reverse, wide open throttle, and jump on the trunk.
Yeah,
it's not
a good idea. Not a good idea. So that's it, guys. We're out of here, and I'll catch you soon, right?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Isn't that what you say?
Tomorrow. Do a video tomorrow. All right, all right, buddy.